we have a very special man, Mr. Alberto Aguilar. And I said it right, correct?
That's the right way of saying it, yeah.
Fantastic. He is the founder of Plantaform, which we're going to get into. We're going to get into entrepreneur talks, the creation of his business, how he was able to navigate the storm. He had partnerships, securing investors. So I think a lot of things that you're going to get out of today is going to be absolutely informative and incredible. So I really appreciate you taking your time to come and see us today. Yeah, I know you're a busy guy, which we just found out you're going to another trip to Paris.
No, I just came back from Paris.
You just came back from Paris. We can't keep up anymore. We can't keep up. So explain to us Plantaform.
So we began Plantaform in 2020, and essentially we came across this new technology from NASA called fogponics. Very interesting article. We're looking for ways of finding a solution to COVID and how we could localize food production into people's homes. And with that, we came across an article that said NASA was growing plants in space back in 2012, testing this new water efficient technology called fogponics, which essentially, compared to hydroponics, uses 50% less water and grows plants 30% faster.
Interesting.
So essentially, it's a productivity formula for anything in agriculture, especially in water scarce regions. And we were surprised that it wasn't commercialized. So we're like, you know what? It's COVID. There's a lot of free time going on right now. I'm going wild and going crazy in my own apartment.
Absolutely.
So me and my co-founders dedicated to go full time onto commercializing this technology and building this indoor gardening system, which would empower people to grow their own food at home.
So a lot of people always try, and whenever I have conversations with a lot of different people that I want to open a business, a lot of them don't know where to start. A lot of them think that drop shipping is the way to go, marketing, copywriting. What inspired you to look into this, to make a business out of it? So I think a lot of people would love to know how to find a product or an inspiration to create something, because that's genuinely what you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was inventing a product. I mean, I've done businesses. Plantaform was my fourth startup that I've built already. To be fair, it was very different from the previous one. They're all software, AI. Even before ChatGPT existed, we were already doing AI. But Plantaform was a little bit more meaningful to me. I actually grew up in Spain, in Barcelona, in a homestead.
Amazing.
So gardening, eating your own vegetables, knowing what real nutrition was part of day to day and a culture. So when I came to Canada, that obviously came to an end. And COVID opened up this epiphany moment where holy crap, people are lining up in supermarkets to buy a maximum of 3 heads of lettuce, and you can only buy a handful of tomatoes. And dude, aren't we a developed country? It's pretty wild that you were only able to buy that much of produce. So when I found out that Canada being one of Canada actually holds the largest concentration of fresh water in the world, I think within the top 3. Yet we're not able to grow enough food for our population. We actually import 90% from the US and Mexico alone. So COVID disrupted our food supply chains completely. So for me, it was a massive opportunity. I'm like, look, we can actually solve a real problem here. And the real problem is that we ain't growing enough food for our people. Secondly, what we're feeding people is garbage. That was harvested 2-3 weeks ago from the US, and we're eating it now. So even if it's organic, it's mind blowing.
Great point. Why do you think they're growing such less vegetables here? Is it because of the lack of farmers?
No,
is it because of climate?
Climate's definitely one of the main conditions. We can't grow 6 months of the year because of the winter. The government, it's supporting a lot of programs, subsidizing hydro bills for farmers, vertical farmers, indoor growing farmers, in any way performance. But we just don't have the conditions for it, right? And I think as well, there's this new generation that's coming in that maybe they just don't care about farming as much because it's not that sexy anymore, right? So
absolutely.
You're not going to graduate and be I'm going to be a farmer. It's not a thing anymore. So vertical farming, which is the new era of farming, which is controlled, it's indoors, it's vertical. It's very sexy. I'm sure we've all seen them.
I've seen loofah farms.
Loofah farm is one of them. The guys who grow at rooftops in Montreal.
Right. It looks incredible.
It looks fantastic. But their business model is not even the growing. Their business model is actually selling the produce, which they collectively group together items from other farmers, and then they sell it to the end consumer.
Mm-hmm.
By growing it, it's not profitable.
Which is interesting.
So why would you invest $7 to $10 million in a vertical farm that's not making profits? So therefore, that's why that solution doesn't make much sense here in Canada. So we're still going to be on that spiral continuation of finding food insecurity or facing food insecurity and always being dependent on the US.
It's interesting how the U.S. produce is still cheaper than the ones that are grown in Canada.
Think about it. If the cost to grow produce is cheaper down south because the climate condition around California, it's pretty much almost the same year round, then your costs per vegetables are not just predictable, but they're always going to be cheap. Here, you're going to have to pay high HVAC costs and electricity,
That's right.
right? Labor as well. I mean, fuck, how many times did we increase minimum wage in Canada in the last decade alone?
Yeah.
Labor is getting expensive. Transportation is getting expensive. Gas alone is getting expensive. That affects the entire supply chain. So, like, we're not really seeing a viable route to profitability. Whatever we're growing, we're already consuming, but we need more. We have 40 million people to feed in Canada, and we're not on the right path.
We're really not on the right path. So then who's Plantaform's biggest clientele?
I mean, we have two different ones. We built our indoor gardening system to be able to directly impact households. So therefore, we could empower people to grow their own vegetables, herbs year-round from the comfort of their home, reducing their dependency on the grocery stores. Is it enough to feed a full family? Well, no. But is it contributing to the entire movement? Of course. You're growing 15 heads of lettuce every single month. Multiply that by 40 million people. I think we're going to contribute to a pretty large segment of the population right there. But the second aspect that Plantaform now is very motivated in, and we've been expanding a lot for the last years, was the B2B side, where we're now developing commercial scale greenhouses in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And that is
interesting.
That's the next big thing that, I think we're firstly announcing it here in the show.
That's incredible. So how did you guys even get in touch with the Riyadh government or the Saudi government?
Oh man, so it's a whole rabbit hole. So before Canada, I actually lived in Dubai from 2012 to 2014. So I went to high school there. I left the country. I haven't been back in over 10 years. And last year was kind of rough. I think we all kind of felt it here in the Canadian economy. Our Canadian dollar went to shit.
It's always the business owners first that feel it.
Yeah,
they know it's gonna come down, then it gets trickled onto the population.
People are getting tighter with their pockets. Like, we're just noticing, okay, look, like, it's a great solution. People were loving it. We still had a really good home run on Q4 and Q1. Don't get me wrong. But on Q4 last year, I was like, who would really need to grow food at home? Not Canadians. We're still comfortable going to the supermarket and buying it. But the Middle East, they've got absolutely everything. I don't know what most listeners think about of the Middle East or the GCC, but man, the GCC has everything. They've got wealth, health, safety, infrastructure, opportunities, everything you can dream of. That American dream that the world had on the West 20, 30 years ago, which clearly died out, it's now being seen in the Middle East. But the one thing that they're still missing is food security. Okay?
First of all, what's embarrassing? I'm Lebanese Palestinian. I don't even know what the GCC was. Is that the Gulf state?
The Gulf Cooperation countries.
Okay.
So it's everything from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, all the way down to the UAE.
Right.
So all the countries that unified together. And they're known as the GCC. So disregarding Iraq.
Now I can sit there and agree with you. Definitely the GCC has everything you want.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. So, I was like, let me go back to Dubai. Let me connect with some old friends. Let me explore how everything goes. And the first thing I did is I contacted the consulate of Canada. And I got on a hold of them. They really liked the project. They believed in it. So they ended up opening some doors and making some introductions. So went over there in November of 2024, spent 2.5 weeks going between Dubai and Qatar.
Yeah.
Made some really good connections and set my mind that I think the opportunity was there. Nothing was locked in, no investments, no retailers, but I met such interesting people that I got to come back here and I got to establish these relationships properly. Because the another thing I love about the GCC, across the entire Middle East,
right?
Business is not done through WhatsApp or emails. It's done through in person like we're doing right now.
I heard it's all about handshake deals still.
That's it.
Which is crazy.
You'll close a deal over having shisha at 10 p.m. at night.
That's right.
At someone's estiraha, which is their comfort home that they do where they invite their guests.
Yeah.
Than an actual formal meeting at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday in some office, everyone wearing suits.
Is it the same thing in Saudi as it is in Dubai as well?
Oh my God, yeah. Actually, even more hospitable in Saudi and more relationship based in Saudi.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
So okay, let's continue down the rabbit hole here. We had the consulate. We got the introductions.
They helped us out. Came back to Canada. Then we went to CES, the Consumer Electronics Shows in Vegas, and we surprised the world by winning this year's Best of CES Innovation Award.
Amazing.
So CES, to put in perspective, is the most prestigious electronic award for any company. So LG, Samsung, Panasonic, all these big guys go there every year and they show their showcase their new products.
Right.
Whoever wins the award essentially means that you got the best product of the year. So all the headlines goes around that. So as soon as that locked in, the biggest distributor in the Middle East reached out to me.
That's incredible.
And they were like, we saw your CES. We love this product. We want to distribute for you across the entire Middle East. And for me, that was okay. That's a door opened. Like,
That's a massive door open.
so immediately I started preparing, like, the entire. We've been negotiating for the last 6 months. We still have not signed the final agreement. I just sent the last copy today, but I think it's going to be signed in the next 2 weeks. But it's going to distribute across the entire GCC among 4 major retail chains. And so when that door opened, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. There's no way I can close this deal over emails. I'm going to go there. I'm going to meet the CEO. So I started planning for 2 months, and within those 2 months, CES happened, Dragons Den happened, all these
Let's
crazy
talk
shows.
about all that for sure, but continue.
And so April, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back now. And within those meetings I had in November, this guy in Kuwait tells me, Alberto, come to Kuwait. I'm gonna pay for your tickets. I'm gonna help you meet some investors. Let's partner up together. And this is a friend that I met his business partner I met in Canada like 3 years ago.
Right.
So small world. He saw a LinkedIn post like, hey, let me introduce you to my partner. So they fly me to Kuwait. In April, I went to Dubai, Kuwait, Riyadh, Qatar, and then back to Dubai again. And that trip was awesome. We got Jumbo, we got investors, we got a few schools as well. So we actually became partners of this like school association across the GCC where we're now selling across the schools.
Amazing.
And then we came back. I was like, I think I got my mindset. I think the Middle East is where it's at. All these new people I just met, they want to open up more doors. I just got to show up again.
That's incredible.
So that's how it kind of led to Riyadh. And, we applied for this accelerator program by the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture. And 13 companies around the globe ended up getting selected. Best agri-tech, food tech companies that could essentially solve the issues with Saudi Arabia and lead to their Vision 2030 aspirations that they have. And surprisingly, we got selected. The only Canadian one, 4 from the US, the rest from Singapore, Europe, all around the globe. And I spent a week and a half in July in Riyadh. Got to know the ministry, got so many opportunities, got investors as well from that trip, and we locked in what we needed.
That's incredible.
So with that means that now at the end of October, I'm relocating to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and opening our 3rd office.
Where's the other one?
In Miami, in Boca Raton.
So there's one here in Canada.
There's one in Canada. There's another one in, it's technically Fort Lauderdale, so Boca Raton.
Yeah.
And now the 3rd one in Riyadh.
Well, first of all, I think what you guys did is absolutely incredible. Because I was looking into the product, obviously, since I had it here. And I wanted to make sure that we knew what we were talking about. We were looking into the product. You guys are solving a real problem. So I think that's what people need to understand is, A, you guys you found a problem and you're creating a solution for it. I think everybody just tries to replicate already an existing formula instead of innovating that formula. And I think you guys did that incredibly well. And because you guys are solving the problem, right? Now those doors open up for you, especially CES is a fantastic. Who thought of the CES idea? Who thought of the Dragon's Den idea too?
Well,
Because you have other founders or co-founders that are with you, partners.
yeah, one more co-founder.
Yeah.
So CES was we've been big into trade shows for a long time. So our first investor, who's Olivier Ben Loulou, in case anyone knows, the guy who he had a massive company called Ideal Protein. The biggest hustler I know from Gatineau.
Right.
And he had a very famous dealership called OB Prestige Auto where he sold that Bugatti Chiron to Post Malone.
Amazing.
Anyways, this guy he's like, guys, I'm going to invest, but you got to go into all the kind of trade shows that you can. And CES is like the biggest jackpot that you can ever find. So we applied to it last summer. We got in, and then we got announced that we were the best, of Innovation Award. So we're just shooting in the blank. We got very lucky. I had 0 expectations going there. It was the same day we launched in the US market. So you can imagine how that, spiraled and allowed us to fully sell out across North America in a month. And then Dragon's Den, this one's actually one of my favorite stories. We were never supposed to be in Dragon's Den.
Interesting.
So I got an email the day before the auditions from Invest Ottawa being like, hey, Alberto, last reminder, tomorrow's our auditions. All the slots have been booked. But if you want to come and take a chance at the end of the day, the judges will have an opening for last minute presentations. I was like, well, fuck, I haven't even done my entire presentation. I haven't prepared anything.
You have no pitch, you got nothing.
Nada. Pitch to investors, not to the Dragons. You know how it's very TV friendly. So I had nothing of that planned. And I had to upload a video. And I got the email at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. I was like, fuck, man. You know what? Let's take this shot. Fuck it. I stayed at the office till 3 a.m. in the morning, doing the entire application, filming myself. I called my best friend, being like, dude, I'm going to pitch to you, roast me like you're a dragon so I can like perfect the pitch and know what to answer. We do that until 3 a.m. in the morning. I submit everything. Next morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, I pick up Brendan, our head of customer success. We go to we go to the Invest Ottawa, and we stay there for the whole day, watching everyone do their auditions. Him and I were practicing, pitching over and over and over again. And by 4 p.m., it was our shot. They're like, Plantaform. I'm like, sick, we got a shot. We go in there. I do my pitch. They kept interrupting me in between. I left. We didn't hear back from them. I was like, you know what? At least we tried. Move on with the day.
How was the experience though?
Well, it was a bit hopeless because I was like, I came with such low expectations, but at the same time, I was like, I gotta give it my all and just shoot my shot. So it was just there, pitched in front of one of the judges, and she kept interrupting me. And then when the pitch was over, she's like, "Okay, thank you. We'll let you know if you made it." And then I left. I was like, "Well, fuck, that went like shit."
Really?
Because she kept interrupting.
So what you see on TV is not necessarily the full segment of you being there and you're actually doing the recording.
That's not even what we filmed. That was just me and the judge directly, one-on-one.
Really?
Yeah. That wasn't even the real thing on the TV and all that stuff. 3 weeks later, I get a call from the producer being like, Alberto, you were selected to like come pitch in front of the Dragons.
So that's how it works.
Yeah. You do auditions across Canada and then they select the people to come pitch.
Okay.
So I was mind blown. I was like, holy crap, we made it to Dragons then. And even then they told me like, by the way, we cannot promise you're going to make it. Half of the Dragon like shots that we do don't even make it. So like, okay, fuck, well, we need to go through another round again in that day.
Makes sense though.
It makes sense because not every pitch is going to be perfect. So May, we go up to Toronto, we spend the day there, and then we end up pitching in front of the Dragons. We actually filmed for like nearly an hour.
No way. So that 12-minute segment is actually an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a full hour, and then they grab the part that they like to make it TV friendly, and they shorten it to around 5 to 10 minutes, and that's what goes on air.
So how was the hour?
Dude, it was frightening, at the same time exciting. We had a special dragon, Simu Liu, you know the actor from Shang-Chi?
No.
The Asian guy from Toronto. You ever watch, what's that Korean funny show on Netflix?
Not a big TV guy, bro.
He's one of the big Marvel Asian guys. Actually, the only Asian Marvel actor.
I gotta see, what does this guy look like? What's his name?
Simu Liu.
You know what, Kev? You need to innovate as well. Like, next time you gotta start throwing it up on the TV like Jamie does on the Joe Rogan. What's his name?
Simu.
How do you spell that?
Simu.
Yeah.
Liu. Liu. Surely you've seen this guy. Kim's Convenience. That's
Oh my God, for sure, man.
So he was a dragon in our episode.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of him. I'm half Asian, so it's like, dude, like, hell yeah.
Where are you from, by the way?
My dad's from Barcelona. I was born in Barcelona, but my
Yeah.
mom's from Indonesia.
Amazing.
So mixed from both.
Crazy mix.
But, you know, I was super stoked because I was able to meet him in person among the other dragons. And then halfway through the filming, me and Arlene Dickinson get into a massive fight.
No way.
Like arguing nonstop because she invested in two of our competitors. And then I tell her, like, look, my plan's to go to the Middle East. And she starts like laughing. She's like, why would you go to the Middle East? I'm like, the GCC especially, like, it's such a tiny market. And I'm like, and I'm arguing back at her. I'm like, no, I'm telling you that everything in our industry is heading towards there. She's like, I invested in two of your competitors. It's a very niche and difficult market. I'm telling you, it's going to be rough. And they're like, yeah, I believe that. The US and Canada, everyone's killing each other within our competitors. It's such a niche market that, you know, the big guys are waiting for the small guys to die and eat them up from the market. The mid-tier ones are just barely passing through profits because they're just trying to continuously reinvest in marketing to be relevant. And, you know, the big guys are just trying to contain their market share.
Yeah.
But in the Middle East, it's like this open sandbox with no competitors where you can be the big guy in the small pond. And I prefer to be the big guy in the small spot in the small pond. I mean, the tiny guy in a massive pond crowded by other companies where they're complicating the market. So when I told her that, she was like, how many people is there in the GCC? I'm like, I don't know, but Saudi 40 million alone. She's like, well, that's tiny. I'm like, well, Canada has 40 million people and businesses here make, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars just based on the Canadian market.
Well, you're telling her all this, eh?
Yeah.
Good for you.
They didn't put that on the show, though. They cut that part off.
That's crazy.
And then Michelle jumps in. She's like, well, you said you invested in two of the competitors. How are they doing? If you're saying it's so difficult. They're like, they're doing amazing. And she's like, well, then why can't these guys do it better? If they have a better technology and they're opening a better market.
That's right.
So that's what led to actually Michelle investing in Plantaform at the end. So she made the offer on TV. Even though after the show it didn't go through on due diligence, the terms were not the best ones at the end. But she confronted earlier and she's like, no, there's a point. Water scarcity, Middle East.
That's incredible.
Food production that's needed, Middle East. And so while everyone was focusing on the US, we focused on the Middle East. And what happened now
And
with
it's
the
a
tariffs?
desert region anyways. Why wouldn't you want to be there?
Well, exactly.
100%.
And now when the tariffs would happen with Trump, well, everyone's shitting their pants and be like, oh, fuck, what are we going to do? We can't even sell to the US now. Well, we've been focusing now on the Middle East and being steps ahead of everyone on a market that actually cares about the product or about the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, nobody's going to tariff them like anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
What their biggest trade partners, $1.5 million investment from Qatar alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Saudi
Or sorry,
Qatar-
$1.5 trillion, not million.
Trillion,
What am I saying?
trillion.
We're talking in T's, not M's. You know,
these guys
we're
are
at the
playing
end of the alphabet over there for them.
They're playing a whole different level.
I know. So good for you. At least you guys solved the problem. But that's crazy how Arlene basically just pushed her into that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was maybe a conflict of interest because she was investing in two of her competitors, but like, I think I was right. Look at where everything's going right now.
So you ended up taking their deal after, anyways.
No, we didn't take the deal with Michelle afterwards.
So you didn't end up
No.
taking it.
On TV, it was good for the PR side, but like
This whole time I was under the assumption that you guys took the deal
on TV,
on TV.
the deal was $400,000 for the 5%, which was
That's right.
back in the day when our valuation was lower.
Right.
And at the same time, she was going to get her money back by helping us move to China and reduce our cost of manufacturing, which she was going to take 40% of the cost savings until she makes her 400K back, and then keep 1% in perpetuity on royalties. I'm like,
There's no chance.
it's an awful deal, but on TV it looks good.
That's interesting.
So good PR, was on TV. We talked afterwards. Sadly, it was not a good match. We tried to negotiating our terms, but it was just not a good fit for both of us. She's amazing. I think she's definitely my favorite dragon, but too bad that we were not able to work something out.
Do you still have the partner or no?
Yeah, George.
Was George part of this whole transaction?
No, it was just me all along.
So
George
you're the negotiator now, eh?
Yeah, George does the operations, the back end. He makes sure the factory runs properly. So,
So you're the face.
I'm the face, but with the right partner like George.
Absolutely. We're not talking. We love George now. But your job is the funnest job of all.
I get to talk a lot and travel.
Yeah. Well, we're here talking about Plantaform, so 100%. So when now do you think they're going to finally implement Plantaform as a solution in the GCC?
I think we're going for one of the biggest problems in the world, and it's food insecurity. And not in a localized level like our indoor garden. Not like these vertical farms, which are never going to be profitable.
Are you allowed to say all this stuff?
Yeah, it's...
Sure. I don't want you to tank a deal. That's the only reason
Oh,
I'm saying.
no. So the biggest challenge that the Middle East will ever face will be feeding their own people. You can have everything in the world, but if you cannot feed your people proper nutritious food, your country is just going to be sand back again.
Yeah, literally.
So
Back to a desert they go.
exactly.
Yeah.
But growing food has to be profitable because the government's not going to grow food for you. You're not going to do it if you can't make $1 million a year at least. So it has to be profitable. It has to make sense in terms of resources utilized on it, because when resources are scarce, you need to be careful how much you allocate it across different industries.
100%.
And you have to be careful who you're working with, because I said Middle East is all about relationships and trust. You break that trust once, you're done, or it spreads very quickly, and you're done in that region.
Especially if you're doing handshake deals, 100%.
Exactly.
I'm Arab. I understand how they work. I know the mentality of them. For
It's
sure.
all in. You trust someone, like you said, right? Like in the Arab culture, you trust someone, you trust. But do not try to break that, because as soon as it's slightly broken or there's mistrust, that thing is over.
100%.
So for us, we're going all there we're going there all in. The biggest problem is, as I said, growing food sustainably, profitably, with the least amount of resources. We have the technology, which solves the problem of the water scarcity, grows plants faster, which means that the unit economics is much lower, which also translates to being more profitable to the farmer. We also don't want to make this crazy vertical farms with robotics and automation, because
I've seen what hydroponics look like. It's insane.
you've seen those hydroponic shelves, right? On top of each other.
Some of them just become insane.
But guess what? None of them are profitable. Plenty.
Which is insane if you think about it in itself. Like, how is that not profitable? Especially if they're saving space, right? If you're saving all your utilities.
It's very simple. The capex is too high. So when the capital expenditure becomes something abnormal, and it takes you 10 years to repay back, or 5 years to repay back, let's say, to be optimistic, the operational expenditures need to be very lean for you to see those profit margins to pay back and amortize the building fast. The problem is the OPEX is very high. The CAPEX, 40% of the CAPEX alone is LEDs. 40% of the OPEX alone is electricity required to lit up those LEDs, when the other 30% is the HVAC alone. So 70% of it just goes alone to just maintain the temperature and the lights to the plants. That's what eats up the profits. It's also very delicate. One bad infestation, one power outage,
And that's finished.
and that's it. Your crops die. Your profits for the next 2-3 months are done. You got to start over again, and you're losing now a whole quarter. So
yeah,
imagine
which is definitely risky for sure.
it's super risky. And in 5 years, when you think you're about to pay off the entire farm, guess what? You're gonna reinvest in equipment. LEDs are worn out. You need to like buy new LEDs, new water pumps, new conveyor belts, everything around the entire system. You're gonna reinvest again. So what's the whole point? You're going to this cyclical like journey of reinvesting just to make sure your farm is just producing, but you're not gonna see much profit. Secondly, 7 million to 10 million for a farm. The average farmer doesn't have the money to buy that. So considering it's very risky to make your money back, and it's already cost prohibitive, it's not going to work. Yes, it's cost saving, but the OPEX is just too high. Greenhouses, on the other hand, are very profitable. They're not sexy. You grow flat.
Yeah.
You use
absolutely.
natural sunlight.
Yeah.
But guess what? Quebec is the most sustainable province in Canada, and they grow with greenhouses.
Hence Lufa Farms, but they're not profitable.
The growing is not, but the business is because of their business model.
That's right.
Greenhouses are profitable. The Lufa farms, if they grow through greenhouses, those are profitable for sure. And hydro is the cheapest in Quebec because everything is through their hydraulic energy systems. So hydroponic greenhouses are being they're being very useful. They grow very profitably, but land can also be still be scarce, and water is still being used, a lot of it. If we can cut down the water consumption by 50% and double the output,
Which is what Plantaform does.
which is what we're doing, then your unit economics drop significantly. And you as a farmer can make your money back in a year and a half rather than 5-10 years. Which means that you're going to want to keep reinvesting in expanding these farms across your land. And that's the big goal that we have for the GCC. Is our business model is very simple. We help farmers build a farm. We work with the ministry to provide loans to the farmer. They pay us $900,000, let's say, for 1 hectare land worth of fogponics greenhouses. We build a farm for you. You pay me the $900K, let's say $1 million. I build a farm, and now you pay me for a maintenance contract and farming as a service, which means that I will train your staff how to operate the farm. That's a 10-year contract where you pay me, let's say, $30K a year. I maintain the farm for you. I make sure all the equipment is running properly. And then once you're done, I'm going to buy the produce from you as well.
Amazing. So you're even going to do that?
So I'm going to buy the offtake from you. So you're going to be like, not only are you just growing, you're also guaranteed income and predictable income.
This is incredible ideas that you came up with. I'd love to know how you formulated all this. Did you have any advisors by any chance? Did you hire advisory companies, or is this just something you and George came up with all by yourself?
We have a very good board of advisors, but the idea really came just from like tinkering among vertical farms around the world. I mean, I visited farms in Rotterdam, Spain, Dubai, Arizona, Elon Musk's brothers' farms in Arizona, here in Montreal, Cornwall. I visited Vegas. I visited so many vertical farms. And interviewing all the CEOs, eventually I figured out that like, okay, well, here's the biggest problem. Here are the pain points. Here's the things they're missing out on. Like they're doing it great, but what could they do better to actually capitalize on what matters in the value chain? So as I mentioned before, Lufa focused on the end part of the value chain, not too much in the growing. They grow some, but essentially their baskets that they deliver, it's from multiple suppliers that they don't even produce anything. They just grab whatever suppliers offer, put it into a basket, and deliver it to you. That's the most profitable part of the value chain. I don't want to be the grower because one bug infestation will kill everything.
Right.
But I will empower you to grow a farm. And it's within my best interest that your farm is operating at full efficiency, which means I've also got your best interest, which is to make sure that your farm is highly profitable and is operational year round.
Of course.
So it's a good partnership. I'm going to buy the produce from you. And let's say if you're trying to sell to like a big retail chain like Loblaws, and you're gonna go with a farm that's 1 hectare, big, like one hectare in size, and you're gonna tell them like, I have 5 tons of tomatoes to sell to you guys. They're gonna laugh at you. Wait, Joey, like we can't even this doesn't supply 3 supermarkets.
Yeah.
But if I go to Loblaws and be like, I can offer you guys 500 tons of tomatoes because I got 100 farms, they're gonna listen to me.
Absolutely.
And now I have the distribution to them. So now,
and you have the exclusivity on these farms?
Well, the exclusivity would be that I build it for you and I'll buy it from you. That's part of the agreement.
Sure.
But now it's like if I can tell you I own 100 farms, but I don't own 100 farms because I don't take care of the real estate.
That's right, because you have 100 trade partners and that's it.
Exactly.
That's smart. Obviously, you were talking hypothetical numbers that way with the 900,000 and the 30,000.
We're still like fixing the numbers
I
right
just
now.
don't want people to hold you accountable for these numbers. But
Of course, I appreciate that. We're adjusting it for the GCC, but like the whole business model is how do we provide farmers a reliable source of income, and at the same time, how do we make sure that the quality is consistent and that we can supply local supermarkets?
I love what you guys are doing because, especially in this day and age, especially in this continent, are you guys going to have any of this happening in North America, or is it just strictly
For
GCC?
now, it's GCC and potentially Rwanda.
Amazing. Let's just say you guys end up penetrating the North American market. I think they need more guys like you anyways, especially if you said you lived in Spain, you already know how it is. The quality of flour in the EU, the Middle East, the GCC, compared to here in North America, right? You're enriched flour. Why we all have gluten problems,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you have children, it really you become a lot more health conscious because, let's be honest, your body's your temple anyways. What you put in is what you're going to get out of it.
100%.
Right? So we need a lot more stuff like this. I'm so shocked what you're saying about Lufa Farms, about how they barely grow much, but they intake more, because their whole business that they're trying to promote to you is rooftop greenhouse.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna produce the best quality, zero pesticide, which obviously we don't want pesticides, right? So if you guys can bring that into North America, that's gonna be incredible.
100%. Although Lufa Farms still bringing a massive added value, right? They're still bringing organic or not growing pesticides. You know what? If we came to North America,
but how do they vet their trade partners though?
I wish I knew the process. I don't. I couldn't.
Obviously, we're not here to badmouth them. If anybody's using Lufa Farms, I've used it before.
They're fantastic.
I'm
pretty sure that there's no issue with their vetting because like every time I order from Lufa Farms,
oh, do
fantastic. Yeah, on Sundays, like
clean,
and there's always new varieties of new stuff.
That's right. Yeah,
and I love their partners because they're all locally made, they're organic, they're healthy. So I'm like, everything from this basket is fuel.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I think they're doing a fantastic job. I think the problem is that maybe there's not enough farms to be able to supply that much.
Would they be an ideal clientele for you?
If we did the farms here, 100%.
Are you listening, Lufa Farms? You're going to have to get in touch with our friend here, Alberto.
The day we make it to North America. But for now, it's all about focus, which is the thing. Part of the podcast is talking about business tips, and it's focus. And we're only focused on making the impact in Saudi Arabia, not even anywhere else in the GCC for the farms. It's just Saudi Arabia for now.
So now what's the hour input of how much you've invested, your sweat equity into this project?
Over 5 years, 6 years now.
12-hour days, 16-hour days?
Monday to Sunday, nonstop. And I'm not even kidding. My routine has been Monday to Sunday. A lot of people listening to this, if they're friends of mine, they will advocate for this. My old roommates, my present fiance, everyone everyone in my life can probably tell you that like it's been nonstop grinding since day one, and it's a mixture of ambition and a mixture of, how would you say, probably a little bit of insanity.
I agree on the insanity part. I think we're nuts to be doing what we're doing. And that's 100%. Let me ask you this. If somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, Alberto, would you be my mentor? And let's just say you agreed.
Yeah. I mentor a lot of people.
No, I'm 100%. I'm not disagreeing on that. What would your advice to be if somebody came up to you and said, you know what? Look, I'm looking for something. I'm sick and tired of my 9 to 5. Right? I want to build my dream just as much as the next guy does. What should I do to start from here?
Honestly, the first thing I'll tell them, like, whatever you're going to choose, first of all, you got to love it. Because you're going to go through so many shit moments that you're going to want to leave it. So, like, you got to love what you're doing.
I agree.
Like, we probably, like, both of us as business owners, 90% of the job, like, stuff that we do, we probably do not enjoy that much because we love that 10% of the moments, right?
100%.
So, you got to love what you're doing. Secondly, whatever you're going to decide to do, make sure there's a real freaking problem. I think too many people jump onto a solution, but there's not a real problem. Or that real problem is not really validated, where people are willing to throw money at it.
Sure.
Right? So make sure there's a real freaking problem and make sure that people are desperate to throw money at it. And once you figure out those two things, figure out that solution to be different than your competitors. In the beginning, you said that it's not all about just replicating a business and going to the market with it, right?
Yeah.
Many people do that, and it works out well. It's always about, if you're going to replicate a business, the good news is you've validated that there's a problem because there's so many businesses that they're solving that problem. It means it's a pretty big one, and people are paying for it.
I agree.
But if you want to enter that industry, you better be different. Make it be either identify as a different type of business that provides different type of quality services, or just be way better than your competition. But there's no point in entering and just being average. So as long as you love what you're doing, there's a real problem, and you can validate it. Doesn't really matter what you're willing to do, man. There's I know people making millions of dollars from tech companies to HVAC to construction to man. I have a friend down in the US. She's selling socks.
And she's killing it?
Branded socks. It makes like 10 figures a year.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
That's insane, by the way. You're saying 10 figures on socks is incredible.
In socks, branded. Now she expanded to like clothes, branded equipment, all of that, but for businesses. Killing it.
It's amazing.
So the whole point, it doesn't really matter what you're going to choose, but fucking love what you're going to do.
You got to fucking love what you do. You know what? I'm very curious because you said you started doing AI before this whole AI venture. Because now if you talk to everybody, what are they saying? AI now is going to be like the .coms. You're going to build more .com millionaires through AI than you did at that time. How did you start getting into AI before AI was even a thing?
I wish I could speak as if I was the one who came him up, but it was my old co-founder, Joel. He was our CTO. We actually did corporate relocations using AI. So it was more of an algorithm and predictive model before AI really became what it is.
Right.
So essentially what the software would do is it would help employees relocate to a different country or different city, help them find things like, the ideal place to live near your office, jobs for your spouse, school for your children, gyms, gym memberships, yoga memberships. All of the things would be set up for you. So by the time you landed, it gave you the best recommendations and applied for you.
Oh, really?
So when you got there, you just pick up the key from the realtor. All the paperwork was done online as well. Job interviews set up already for your spouse. Oh yeah, it was sick.
That's amazing, man.
We had clients like Kinaxis. We're onboarding Ascend Compliance back then, RCMP, and then COVID happened and relocation stopped, and I exited the company.
Is it still ongoing?
No, it closed down. I think 8 months after I left.
Were you like the key ingredient, or just that's it? They just wanted to throw in the towel.
They just kept pushing. They wanted to adopt it to a different kind of like demographic. They thought there's going to still be military relocations within the country. It wasn't big enough of a contract.
I wonder if now would be a good time for them to come back.
Probably, 100%.
Especially with the mass exodus that you have here.
I'm sure there's a new company out there now backed by ChatGPT that's doing it way better.
That's interesting though, because in the end of the day, I think a lot of people don't realize the true potential of AI. But at the same time, man, AI is scary. In the right hands, it's great. In the wrong hands,
tell me about it.
It's funny because I was even watching a video where they're saying that you have to make like a safety word because AI is becoming so powerful to the degree they can replicate you. So let's just say that you get a phone call, your family gets a phone call. Let's just say your new fiance, right? And then they say, hey, we got Alberto. You got to sign over the keys to Plantaform to us, or we're going to kill him or whatever. But obviously it's bullshit. Let's just say you're literally sitting down with the crown prince in the GCCs. No clue. It sounds so legit, but you got to create like a safety word for you to know whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
That's how to the degree it is. But it's pretty interesting how AI is coming to a place where it's replicating even music artists.
Yep.
Which is nuts. So you're telling me, as an example, let's just say if we were monetized and we're making all this money on this, you're just going to take the person's voice and then just make music through AI?
That's crazy.
So it's a very interesting concept.
Anything creative right now, like AI is starting to really diverge into the creativity side of the world, because that was the one argument that people had with AI, right? Like, it can do a lot of things, but can it have a creative mind? And by what you just said, it definitely can.
100%.
It's making music, it's making videos. I mean, VO2 is what people were saying that's going to kill Hollywood or the movie industry. I mean, I wouldn't say to the extent yet, but they're under threat. And not just that, actually, any animation production studio now can probably launch a new movie just by 1/10 or a minimal fraction of the price of a previous production.
I agree with you. One of my cousins is a game designer, and he's worked with the Rockstar team.
Nice.
And he's worked with a bunch of them, right? I won't lie to you, I'm not too well versed on these gaming studios, but even them themselves are saying that, they're all terrified because of AI. So then my question is Plantaform incorporating AI today?
I mean, everyone in the team uses AI with everything. Tools that we're using to optimize customer service, that analysis. We build our own AI agents with N8N. But I wouldn't say that Plantaform is necessarily an AI company. We are AI enabled. So we use AI tools for day-to-day tasks and to improve the efficiency of the company and how it runs.
Even the actual machinery?
Has some AI integrated, but
You guys are going to have servers to monitor the machinery and stuff like that in the GCC if you're building farms?
Yep. So everything's gonna be monitored, but they're all IoT systems, so it's different, right? IoT is easier to detect if any sensors are breaking down or if anything, it's not working properly. But the reason why we don't want to use too much AI on it is we're trying to make farming simple again.
Sure.
We're not trying to advance it too far, like how vertical farms have done it or automation's done it, which makes it more capex, prohibitive. We're trying to focus on more resource efficiency,
Right.
rather than high technology, because one power outage will kill the farm as well.
No, it makes a lot of sense what you guys are doing.
We're all about, and we don't want to substitute human labor.
Yeah.
We're telling people, listen, our farms will probably need 50 people to 60 people working on it. Yes, the vertical farm needs maybe 6 or 7, but I don't want to take away those jobs away from people, especially in the Middle East. Labor is dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And those people want to work. And the country has a mission of providing employment to people. Everyone's already scared that AI is going to replace them. Well, we're here to be able to bring people back to reality. Farming is the oldest act in human history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've been fucking it up for this last 20 years with too much innovation. So our motto is less automation, more water, more resource efficiency. That's it. Empower the farmer, don't make it complicated.
I truly believe everything has stages, right? And I feel like we're kind of we're reverting almost back into the hard labor stage. So like the blue collar workers, right? Mm-hmm. At some point, everybody wanted to escape the blue collar worker, including farming. And they wanted to go off to the tech side. Because let's be honest, isn't it a lot better to sit into an office? I used to be on the roofs all day back in the days, right? 12 hours, 13 hours, 30 degrees, 40 degrees.
That's rough.
You're on a slope, you're hunched over. Obviously, your body takes a toll after a while. So obviously, at some point, they're like, you know what? Hang up the overalls. Go to the office. You got air conditioning now. Let's be honest. Does not sound like a dream compared to the guy on the field? So a lot of them like, you know what? It's not sustainable if I'm here doing this kind of hard labor for 30, 40 years. You know what? It makes a lot more sense. It's easier. And then, of course, now they've innovated to such a degree where they are getting replaced some way or another. So I feel like in the end of the day, a lot of them are going to end up going back to blue collar. So
100%.
Well,
actually, that's a very good perspective.
Yeah, I'm a true believer of that because we still need more. There's only so much technology can do in the labor side of the world, right? So we still need them. So I think it would be incredible if Plantaform is incorporating all that, and then they're utilizing the hands. So, which is a fantastic. What was the other 3 businesses other than because you said this is your 4th startup.
Yeah. So there was Your Dorm,
yeah,
which was the first one I ever started with. That was helping international students get to Canada and help them find a place to live. And the second one, which didn't last too long, was De Nova. So we were supposed to do bacteria mutation, where we're altering the DNA cells of CBD, but inside of wheat cells. So wheat, the same way we grow grains, we wanted to alter the bacteria mutation in it to be able to grow CBD in wheat, which was 1/10 cheaper than growing within cannabis. But it was very complicated with Health Canada. That was before cannabis became legal. It was very expensive at one point with certification, so we abandoned the project. But that's how I kind of got into biotech and grow all those interests within that, which evolved into Plantaform eventually.
Amazing. So you've been in this industry.
Slightly, yeah. Dip my toes into it.
So what's the next moves after this?
Well, now it's to move to Riyadh.
Yeah.
And expand the business over there. I've already raised $4 million in Canada for the last 4 years. Now I'm looking to raise a $5 million US round in the GCC to expand the farms, grow the region, explore Rwanda as well. I'm actually flying there in November.
Why Rwanda out of all the African countries? Just out of curiosity.
So my old business partner, I was involved in another company. This is not a startup, but we did last mile delivery. He has a lot of connections in Rwanda.
Sure.
And he's been telling me about how the government's investing a lot in agriculture and sustainability. And for those who do not know Rwanda ain't what people think Africa is. It's like freaking Singapore.
Really?
In the middle of Africa. Well, East Africa.
Like Singapore.
Like Singapore. It's super developed.
Wow.
Super developed, stable government, growing GDP. It's crazy. So Rwanda, has a lot of opportunities. I remember, I 2.5 years ago, a lot of our advisors were saying that, but I spoke to this guy from BlackRock, one of the directors of finance, Jeff, and he was telling me like, look, Alberto, you got to realize that what you're doing, this kind of innovation, has no more room in North America. He's like, the next generation of wealth, the next billionaires, are not going to be created in North America anymore. It's going to be in Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa, if you know how to navigate it.
Interesting.
And Africa has so many resources that, and the wealth there is, it's unbelievable the amount of wealth.
I heard.
So the problem is if you don't have a native partner, then odds are they're going to take you for a ride. Because, business ethics, morals are not as, the foundations are not as structured as it is yet as in the West. Rwanda is, for example, one of the many, like Kenya. But I'm exploring really the opportunities of Rwanda, especially with the ministries there and working closely with the governments. Our solution is valid to any country where water is scarce. And that means all of Africa as well, if there's opportunities in that region.
That's incredible. When you talk about investors, by the way, I want to give some guys some game, because not a lot of us raise capital. What's your advice if you want to raise capital if you have a product?
It really depends. I've raised capital for Plantaform. I've raised capital for real estate. For real estate, it's very straightforward, right? The numbers make sense and the developer's credible, I'll invest. For startups, unless you have a very, very clear visibility in your financial projections and your current financial statements that you're about to make, 20, 100, 50 million, whatever EBITDA, then it's risky, right? And most startups don't really see EBITDA very early. Most of them actually don't even see EBITDA till past Series Bs. For us, especially being hardware, it's very cash intensive. So when it comes to raising capital, it really comes down to one simple thing, and it's yourself.
Interesting.
People do not invest in your startup. Let that sink in.
That's amazing.
People invest in you.
So you really are the product through and through.
Most investors said that, and they keep reminding me that they invested in me. But that's because they understand that, the team at the end of the day is what matters the most. Not just me. They invest in the whole team behind Plantaform, right? So they gotta believe that you're the guy who can lead and that you're the guy who can make this stuff happen. Because as you said, you have to be insane to get into this field.
100%.
So do they believe you're the one who can actually achieve such solution and acquire such market share? And that is based on how good is your pitch deck, how good is your research, how good is your understanding of the market. Can you prove a viable way of achieving those milestones? Have you proven enough traction to give them the reassurance that, no, I got shit done and I can get even more shit done with this capital?
Yeah.
So as long as all of those things make sense, it's really a bet on a person. So it's really up to you to make that happen or let them down.
Is your experience a factor as well? Let's just say, because you were saying you're trying to get into that bioengineering,
it helps a lot. CBD. It helps a lot, but again, that venture only lasted for 8 months, right? The CBD one. And the other ones, they were not successful ventures.
Was there a lot of capital invested at that time as well?
No, everything was self-funded. Every startup I had was
self-funded. So you've dumped a lot of money into these startups, eh?
Yeah, and they kept failing.
Good for you.
And Plantaform hit the jackpot.
Good for you, man. See, that's inspiring. That's inspiring. A lot of people would have gave up the first or second round.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of people. You give up too fast.
I agree.
So it does not matter what you're going to do. If it doesn't work out, why are you giving up so quickly? In anything. Construction, same thing. You didn't get the project. We'll try again. You got a tiny little project. We'll do your best. You can't get another one. Well, freaking try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got to knock 100 doors to hopefully get one. And if you didn't get one, well, guess what? Do 100 more doors.
That's right.
But people are just not willing to take those continuous steps. And when everything is against you, you often think, well, what would everyone else do? Quit, and I'll quit as well. If you're trying to do what everyone else cannot achieve, then do what everyone else would not do in that situation. Don't you see how it's funny how that works? Eh? It's always do the opposite of what the most people would do, and you somehow always get it right. And Plantaform, everyone doubted us from day one. We're from Gatineau, man. Gatineau, hardware company, revolutionizing way of growing food, the most water. Listen, it sounded like a Ponzi scam, whatever. There's no way this should actually happen here.
They went that far to say a Ponzi scheme, eh?
Well, some people were like, oh, it's a startup, money dump's not going to work out. They're never going to go to production. They're never going to make it out from the garage. Dude, consistency, resilience, and just going against the odds. And this formula is no stranger to every other business. So
It's true, yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny? Because even guys like us, my thing is what I coach with my guys every day. Because I have sales staff, estimators, the whole shebang, right? So if we don't get a project, why did we not get the project? Is it strictly about because of pricing? Is it about the way we relayed the message to them? Is it scope of work? What did we miss in the delivery? As funny enough, sometimes you'll end up getting really good gems of why somebody didn't go with you. And I don't want to talk about what we're kind of innovating something right now. We're still in the works. I don't want to release it just yet because I don't want my competitors to steal it because it's gold. But there was one time this guy was so adamant of using us. It was insane. He literally said, we're only going to go with that GC if they strictly go with you to go do the exterior enveloping and so roofing, siding, and it was a huge house. It was like almost 7,000 square feet, right?
Wow.
And the most premium of products the guy has chosen, the whole shebang. And he said, he's like, we're only going with them because of you. Sure enough, after going back and forth, 6-7 months, relationships have been built. Long story short, we didn't get the job.
Okay.
So it was a multitude of things. I can't say it just yet because we're still developing something. I'm innovating something on this. And we're testing it out right now and it's working like gold. So that's why I don't want to throw it out there yet because they will steal it. And I'm telling you, it was genius. But after all this and we never got the job, I was curious. And then obviously you continuously call the guy and he doesn't answer at this point, right? So I shot him a message and I just said, hey, you know what? It's okay if you went with someone else. I just want to pick your brain so I know what to do better next time. So I asked him all this series of questions. I don't want to get down to what it is once again because I'm innovating on it. But that discovery of just asking, making you comfortably known to the client that, hey, you know what, it's okay you didn't go with us. Maybe better luck next time. But I'd love to learn from the situation. I think a lot of people just go in there with pure emotion and they have an expectation that automatically that because you ask them for something, they have to give it to you. You're no longer earning it anymore. That discovery alone can open doors like you wouldn't believe.
100%.
Right? Instead of just getting upset and we're only going to go with you and dragging you on and using your price as a stakeholder or whatever, if you take the actual lesson out of it, if you're truly a student of life and you want to learn from a situation, how you can do better, what you're missing out. I tell my guys all the time, if you're doing a sales call or anything like that, just record it. We'll sit down in the back. I remember I ended up buying that Plod Note. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Plod Note. It's an AI note taker. Maybe I'm going extra, but. And then I tell them all the time, just literally record the conversation. And then from there, we can analyze what you did right, what you did wrong, what you can do better. I think feedback is better than practice.
Yeah.
Right? So I love what you guys are doing. You guys are continuously repeating. You're trying to innovate and how are we going to make this work? And only by interviewing people and figuring out what's your true problem. I want to solve this issue. That Plantaform came to life, and I love it, man. It's inspirational.
100%. Actually, that's it brings me to a short story from Brendan, our head of customer success. Hardware, you got to keep continuously innovating. It's like the iPhone. You got to launch a new iPhone every single year with new features and all that stuff, or else you fall behind within the competition.
You become obsolete.
But if you innovate towards the wrong direction, you just wasted all the company's resources, capital, and time. And now you definitely fell behind, and you're at negative at the bank. The way we actually solve problems and the way we innovate, we never come up with it anymore. Our clients tell us what to do.
Interesting.
So we build what our clients tell us. Every quarter, Brendan does this thing called the product market fit scheme, which is what our advisor who told us about this. And it's very simple. It's 3 questions that we ask the customers.
You taking notes, everybody?
This can be applicable to any business.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 questions were, if we took away your indoor garden, how disappointed would you be today? This could be applicable as like, oh, if we took away the new siding that we did for your building, how would you feel? If we took away the flooring, so how would you feel if we took this away? Very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, or not disappointed at all? Next question is, what are the things you love the most about this product? And the next one is, what are the things that you hated the most about this product? So what we do in our quarterly meetings is, based on the first row of questions, how disappointed would you be? If you say if you said I would not be disappointed at all, I don't give a crap what you're gonna say about if you loved or you hate. You're just not my client. You're one of the biased ones. So sadly, I won't be able to make you happy. Out.
Sure.
Next one, somewhat disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I want to hear what these two people have to say because they clearly care about the product. Next up, the things they love. Everyone puts multiple choice. We know what everyone loves, and we group them all together. The top 3 things that people say they love the most, I grab that. Marketing team, they put this in all of our communications. People love these 3 things. All of our messaging has to go around these 3 things.
Right.
Next phase, the things they hate. Tons of things they hate. But the top 3 things, I tell the engineering team, this quarter, you guys are going to focus on solving these 3 problems. The rest, forget about it.
I love it. That's how business is done.
And every quarter, that's how the team engineers the right things. That's how marketing improves its customer acquisition cost, by communicating the things our customers love. And that's how we keep building a product that people actually truly love.
I love it.
That's how you let the customers tell you which is exactly what you just said.
You got to take the feedback.
Yeah.
That's insane. Everyone wants to just create a product because I think that, I'm telling you, I think it comes down to emotions. I think they're too emotionally tied to something to the point where they just personally believe. It's like your child.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to you and says, you know what, Alberto, your son did X, Y, and the third, your son's annoying.
You get protective. You get defensive at that point.
100%. You're like, that's my son. I love this thing, you know? Now, if it's the same thing in business, when you have to, I find there has to be a perfect balance everywhere. That you have to be humble enough to take it.
Yeah.
Right. And then at the same time, you have to be, I just forgot the word, man. Humble enough to take it. And at the same time, you have to be able to be conscious enough to understand what they're saying to you and to take the feedback. And then you just need true leadership to go back to your team and deliver.
Yeah. And that's it. There's no perfect route. But if it gets too difficult, people hop off too quickly.
So obviously I know you're a busy guy. When are you going to leave again, you said?
End of October. Last week.
And how long is that trip going to be?
For now, 12 months.
So is there anybody that can get in touch with you? Because usually what I like to do is I like to put a description of your product and the link and stuff like that, but you're only focusing B2B at this point, correct?
B2C still. So B2C, we've been with Costco. We're launching with Costco again in October.
Amazing.
Costco Canada. And now I've been working to launch in Costco US for 2026. And then, as I said, across the GCC, it's going to be as of January 2026. So I'm still working on the B2C at the same time.
Can they buy direct?
They can buy direct from Plantaform.com, Amazon, Costco.ca as of next month. So there's plenty of places they can buy it from. There's a lot of retailers that carry it as well, like small boutique retailers. And then the B2B, it's more of my baby project. So actually nobody in the team is getting involved with it besides me, our CTO, and our new partner in the business, which is Dr. Aftab, who was the former head of R&D at AeroFarms, which is the second largest agri-tech company in the world.
Wow.
So, and he's worked in Riyadh for 17 years in their aquaponics systems in the past. So like he's a gem. And
I was just about to say that word too. I swear to God, I'm like, what an amazing addition. How'd you guys find him?
I met him through an introduction when we became partners with the Clearwater Aquarium in Florida. So again, someone who introduced me to this random guy, introduced me to this guy, and this guy introduced me to Dr. Aftab. We bonded from the first day, talking about how vertical farms don't work and all this shit. And we talked for 8 months, and then we met in Dubai and became very close.
I hope everybody's listening to this conversation and really realizing that it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
I really hope everybody's picking up that key point there, because that's literally everything. The whole story I've been hearing is about, I knew this guy, met this guy, opened the door to this guy, met this guy.
Everything. And there's this saying in the Middle East, I love it. Maybe you know it from Lebanon, but it's wasta. A man of wasta, someone who has wasta. Wasta is the person who can unlock anything, the gatekeeper of the solutions you're looking for, the person who knows the minister, the person who knows that guy. Like, if you know someone with wasta, that guy's worth more than $1 billion.
100%.
Because he can open up the door for you and introduce you to anyone. So I love meeting more wastas.
You know what? There's one thing I did want to ask, actually, is because at some point, a lot of my friends have been telling me, why don't you come to Dubai? Right? Since you were born, you said you were raised there?
I only lived there for like 2.5 years.
That's okay. And you're 2.5 years and the time you just went back.
Yeah.
Is it truly what they make it out to be? This land of opportunity, there's money galore. You just go there, you're going to find it.
I think it's washed up. I think it's a big fugazi. I was initially supposed to go to Dubai, but then grew a lot more interest in Riyadh. Riyadh, or Saudi Arabia, is Dubai 20 years ago.
Really? That's insane because a friend of mine is Saudi Arabian. He's moving back in December, right? And then he was literally preaching that. Just come, we'll show you what to do. Are you doing this because I know usually in Saudi Arabia, you have to have a partner that has ownership in the business.
Not anymore.
Really?
They took that away.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Just like Dubai. Dubai took that away, I think 4 years ago.
Is this very recent?
Yeah. Saudi is changing exponentially. Yani, if I told you Dubai...
You're such an Arab. You just said yani. Such an Arab. Guys, Alberto is officially Arab.
Type.
That's right. So yani, go ahead.
So the thing is, if I told you Dubai 10 years ago or 20 years ago, would you go? Of course. There was a gold rush.
Yeah.
But now it's so saturated. Real estate's expensive. Since the Russians, Ukrainians moved there because of the war, everything became super expensive. There's a lot of scams.
I heard that, which is insane because you hear safety, you can leave your...
It is safe. It is safe still. You can leave
no
your phone.
problem, but the scamming is insane to me.
Tons of scams going around. You have to think, half the people there don't even live there. They go there for a few months and they go back to their country, but they have their main residency there for tax purpose.
Right.
But the money's not really there, right? Or the money is very in very close groups. It's very hard to penetrate. So it's this big facade that you go there, and guess what Dubai is all about now? If you've gone there before, you have partnerships, and
Sure.
it's good. But now if you're gonna go fresh from the start, it's a little bit more tough. Because the one thing you're gonna have to do is invest a lot of cash. Go to these fancy dinners, go to fancy clubs, go to fancy places, and you spend all your money, but at the end of the day, did you really meet the right person? There's this big facade in Dubai. You see the guy with a Land Rover, with a Lamborghini. First thing you're gonna think about is rent it. Fun fact: I don't trust nobody with a Lamborghini in Dubai.
I heard it's such a fake it till you make it over there.
It is.
Yeah.
So I don't trust nobody showing up in a Lambo in Dubai.
Yeah.
You show up in a Nissan Patrol, we're talking.
Oh yeah?
Well, you definitely got money if you got a Nissan
Get out
Patrol.
of here.
Because you got nothing to show.
Yeah.
Nissan Patrol is like they're the Emirati, national vehicle. But it's the ones that don't show the most that tend to have the most money in Dubai.
That makes more sense.
So again, it's like you're gonna get distracted by the wrong person there because they're being flashy and all, but they got nothing at the end of the day. Or you go to Saudi, where now there's appetite for investments. There's appetite for change. Dubai is already very changed, very developed. Saudi, let's put it in construction perspective.
I want to hear about the construction perspective.
Saudi is your playground. It's a sandbox, literally. Go build, yalla, go build. Do anything you want, build.
You're throwing me off with throwing the Arab words in there. Yalla, go build it. It looks like we're going to be smoking shisha now.
Oh man, that's another thing. Every single night smoking shisha till like freaking 2 a.m. in the
That's
morning.
amazing.
But Saudi has so many opportunities and it's building so fast. Because remember, they got Vision 2030 coming up, which is like the big expo of the country. And you got the World Cup in 2034. The country cannot seem what it was 5 years ago even. Because MBS, His Highness, is changing everything. He wants Saudi to be seen as a safe place where foreigners can come and visit, a touristic attraction, a touristic landmark, and where it's prospering business. The old Saudi does not exist anymore. He's changing everything. And
That's
he's
incredible.
the reason why there's so many opportunities. Every time I've gone to Riyadh three times this year. Every time I come back, there's new cranes everywhere. I'm always at the same hotel. Cranes everywhere, new ones.
Amazing.
So there's so much construction going on. So yeah,
It
tons
looks
of
like I'm going to be seeing you down in the GCC now. Eh?
bro, I swear.
I'm literally going at the end of the year.
Oh, nice.
I swear to God. I told you, my buddy's moving back. He's like, come down. He's from Riyadh. And he's like, look, man, just come down, leave the rest to me. I'll show you everything.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Tons of opportunities. Riyadh, obviously Jeddah, Neom is developing a lot right now. And everywhere now, even like places like Khobar and stuff where it's near the ocean, they're still now starting to pick up. But the main like hot spots are Riyadh and Jeddah right now.
Are you going to be there in December?
Yeah, I'm moving as of end of October. I'm gonna be good. Moving on in October,
Well, it looks like I'm going to see you there, man. That's what I mean.
we'll be in Riyadh.
Man, it was such a pleasure to have you here, man.
Honestly, thanks for having me here. It was refreshing talking about this crazy adventure that we've been going through this last year.
I love it. So look, I think what we're going to do is we're going to just cut the cameras at this point, and me and you are going to go smoke some shisha. How about that?
Absolutely.